Hello lamp fans, this week got a couple little things I'd like to show you. So had viewers ask about removing dents from fonts, and a viewer and a friend of mine out of Saskatchewan came up with this hack, Tom, and it's a really good one. So cone cap mantles. Okay, so I only have a few of these kicking around. I have some adapters on order to adapt this to it, but I did some videos before where you would take this and cut it out, but it's actually easier just to rehang it. So what you can, so a lot of the time you get a mantle, especially a cone cap. I had one the other day. This one, it was looked brand new. It was in a lamp. I fired it, it just disintegrated. But the body has never been fired, and neither was the hanger. So this one is an older one, and it's pretty corroded. So I'm not going to use that. But here, this is a prime example. This is a cone cap mantle, new in box, and the December 20th, 1979. So there we go. So this is 40 odd years old, and I can pull it out, and it's good. This one would be usable because it's in a sealed package. So I want to just mimic this with the new ones. So what you can do is you can actually, if you support these pins without squishing them, like a pair of wide pliers, don't squish it, and hold this piece down at the bottom, this tab, you can pull up and actually pull this piece out, and you do one side at a time. Then when you're done, you might have to sort of re-level these. Then grab a 21/64 drill bit, and I just put it into my Dremel, and I reamed it through, because what they do is they push this rod in and then they crimp it. So I just removed the crimps. So now I have, this was Tom's idea, some stove and gasket cement, which is good for 2,000 degrees, I think Fahrenheit, for heaven's sakes, non-asbestos. I'm going to do a couple things with it. I'm going to use it when I transfer this over to secure it at the top so it doesn't move around. I'm also going to use it on these little holes here too. So when I put this back together, it's all going to stay. I'm going to let it cure for a few minutes and go from there. But first thing you got to do is you're going to have to remove this. Now, unfortunately, this hanger, this wire hanger, is going to be too short, so there's no real salvaging that. So at this point, I'm just going to grab some pliers or some side cutters here, and I'm just going to do it at the top so I don't. These are pretty small for the job, I guess. Bigger ones. So there's some some linesman pliers, I should say. That's kind of what I use to whoa, Betsy. So I'm just going to pull this apart just enough so I can get this piece out. Unfortunately, the other part is essentially garbage. So what I'm going to do is just put a little, I think that's a bit hard, this stuff. I wonder if the stuff they sent me was no good. Okay, now there's the softer stuff there. So that is the stove and gasket cement. So it's really designed for high temperatures. I'm just going to put a little bit of that on there. And then I'm going to grab this piece and, without totally muckering anything up here, drop it into position, and then get them lined up slowly. Boy, this is easier to do off camera than on camera, I'm sure. Like somebody looking over your shoulder when you're trying to work. So essentially that kind of does it. I got a little bit of too much cement there on that side. That kind of gets it the right sort of hang level. So I'm just going to put it there like that and let it sit for a bit and see if looks almost straight. And now I'm ready to get some more of this stuff. It's really thick in the tube. I think the stuff they sold at the Lowe's is a little old and not that user friendly, so this might be going back, this tube, if I do this a few times. Anyway, I'm going to put some of this on top. That'll secure it. I'm just going to put a little bit more on the side here. And that's pretty much it. So that's going to be good. I'm just going to let that cure. And then I'm going to put it onto this 6 over here and run with it. I'm just going to put it on top for now. I'm not even going to lock it in. Okay, it's good. So when you see these are at least 20 years old, if not older. Now, the second thing that I'd like to show is how to get rid of dents. So one of the viewers asked me, how do I massage dents out of fonts? Well, for starters, if it's really bad shape, I don't go anywhere near it. I only take out the light stuff. Really bad ones, I just stay away from them. When you get a really nice lamp and it's got one little dent in it, that's what I like to tackle. This is an older Model 5. This one is in fair shape. It had some dents, so that was a dent. That's why it's got that crease. Now I pushed it out, and now I'm ready to polish that. So a lot of time you can feel what they look like. I hope this is coming out nice on camera here. I'm gonna grab a little cloth here and give this a little bit of a tug or a push here. Polish, and it pretty much polished right out. It's not completely gone, but it's 95% gone. That's probably all you're going to get. You're never going to get these things 100% perfect. So that was a dent that I pushed out, and what I used was I just made a tool. And where did my tool go? Okay, oh, it's over here. Pretty simple tool. Basically, it's one of these screw in the wall holders, just rubber. Coated metal, and it's got like a threaded stud. I just threaded it into this just for a bit of extra leverage, but most of the time I work it down there. And then on the end you can put rubber, or you can put a piece of, I kind of really like this product here. This is called Quick Steel by JB Weld. Awesome. I found this Oakley Fix-A-Stick bonding adhesive. I think this is literally the same stuff, but for the plumber's grade stuff. This was the cheapest way to go. This is $8 Canadian at Lowe's, and these are probably more like $10 Canadian at Lowe's. So sorry about the furnace going in the background. It's Canada, it's winter, the thing's chugging along. Gotta keep myself warm. So anyway, what I did with this is I basically went down to the bottom and I found a dent. I can actually see there's another one right there. So what you do is you flip it over, and then you feel with your finger, and then you see, well, the dent's right there. So I just kind of contoured that, a couple different contours, and then what I do is I just grab it, and then I just run it over a few times until it feels smooth, and then you look, and it, sure enough, it gets smooth. So then you can polish out the oxidization. Now this dent here, this is going to be really difficult for two reasons. One reason is I got to get inside here, and it's on a corner, so it's really hard to get that out. And then this inner wick tube makes it even harder, so I got to kind of bend this out of the way, get this in, move it around. That could probably take an hour, where the other ones take 10 seconds. You got to take your time, you got to rub it to warm it up, to move it, and you'll get them out. Just take your time, make sure nothing's sharp. If you push it out too much, you can tap it in gently. But, you know, if you have a dent on the chine, well, you're never going to get a dent out of there. It's really only for areas that you see. So there's one there. That will come out. The ones at the bottom, maybe that's where you want to practice, because those are the easiest ones. You can see from this side. You can make your tool. So work down here first. Learn how the metal works by pushing it. And as I said, don't over push it. Push it back and forth. That's not a dent, but anyway, that was a dent. I pulled that one out. It needs to be polished a little bit. So anyway, that's how you kind of push them out. There's different tools. You can use metal tools. Like I've seen other lamp collectors use metal tools, but I find this stuff, this liquid steel, is kind of like it'll come apart. It won't. It's not like metal. So it's softer and it works the product better. So that's kind of my trick there. I've had a couple different versions of this over the while. I've had some with rubber tips on it, but I kind of gravitated back towards this stuff. It's cheap and I can make a couple different ones for, you know, $1.50. So that's a cheap fix tool. Some people, you can use a wood dowel, and you can actually massage it with a wood dowel, but it doesn't have as much control and it's kind of softer. Some people use pennies, you know, a nice round penny or nickel. You can sort of find the contour and kind of bring it back and forth and try to push the dent out that way. You know, I wish you know, there was a definite easy way to fix these things, and there isn't. You know, I look for lamps that really don't have too many defects. Anyone with a, you know, 5 or 6 dents in it, it's really not worth restoring. It might be a good lamp, like this lamp here. Pretty ugly Model 6. Not sure if you can see that. Pretty ugly Model 6, but it'll run great. It's going to be fresh. It's going to run. Not a pretty finish on it, but it's going to light the place and keep me warm. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this week's video, and have yourselves a nice day.